This is your host, Chris from Brooklyn. I'm joined by your man, the homeless, now home full, formerly cumless, now come full, weirdo, Michael Harrington. What's going on, Mike?
I'm full of less cum because I'm coming now. So it's still cum lesser.
I don't know. But this is the second episode of our watch-alongs for Bare-Knuckle Fighting Championship. Now, we very much enjoyed the last one, the bloodiest fight of 2018 from BKFC 1. This is also from BKFC 1. It's Beck Rawlings versus Alma Garcia. First time we're seeing. Now, something about watching two women bare-knuckle box is making my penis hard. I'm not going to lie to you. Now, how do you feel about that?
I mean, especially when we're talking about rowdy Beck Rawlings here, one of the first female MMA fighters to set up an OnlyFans account. So, I'm a fan of hers.
Oh, yeah, I mean, that's, what a sweetheart. You know what I mean? Doing that for the fans.
She's killing it.
For only the fans. Now, we're watching this again. Now, for people who are just joining us, because this is the first time they're checking this out, what are the differences between the rules in bare-knuckle fighting versus traditional boxing, Mike?
Well, BKFC holds all bouts in a circular four-rope ring referred to as the squared circle. The ring incorporates elements of historical bare-knuckle fighting by containing two scratch lines 3 feet apart in the middle of the ring. These scratch lines are based on the Broughton rules, which govern bare-knuckle fighting in the 19th century. It is a requirement that each fighter must start each round with their front foot on their scratch line. This is referred to as toe the line, and it is an instruction given to the fighters at the beginning of each round, followed by knuckle up, which signals the beginning of the round.
It was also the sequel to Three Ninjas. The sequel was Three Ninjas Knuckle Up.
Hell yeah.
So it really is keeping with the combat sports tradition.
Love it.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to get started in 3, 2, 1.
No. Fuck.
Oh, you get started?
Yeah, I don't know. I accidentally closed that browser. I accidentally closed that tab.
See, for people who don't know, when we tried to record the first episode of this show, we had to start over because Mike had opened a dozen Pornhub tabs and left them open before we started recording. It's just such an unprofessional thing to do. It's
whatever,
he
dude.
He hit share screen, and then I was like, "Why don't you just close those tabs?" He's like, "Nah, B, I'm gonna need those later." Now, mind you, where are you recording from, Mike? Can I?
My parents' house.
You're in your parents' house.
Yeah.
You, for all we know, you're a carrier for coronavirus, and you're around these elderly people.
Mm-hmm. I haven't seen them since Sunday, mind you, when I got in here.
Oh, you're just holed up in your dad's man cave. So it's not even like this is your childhood room. It's your father's man cave.
Yeah.
And you're just jacking it in your father's man cave.
Oh, yeah.
Just cranking it out. in a wheelie chair that I know is rattling into above their bedroom. Jacking off 10 feet above your mother's head.
No, I think this room is above the garage, so nobody's in there right now.
Your dad's in there because you kicked him out of his man cave. He's in there smoking weed alone.
He's just in there like fucking pretending to work on his cars, like he knows what he's doing.
Yeah. He's just hitting him with a hammer. Just get away from your mother for 10 minutes.
Dude, they are not doing well under quarantine. There's been so much yelling.
Oh, really?
Dude. Just so much yelling.
How much? They're both retired. How much time are they spending apart as it is?
Well, that's the thing. Like, yeah, they're retired, but like, my dad is like looking for a job just to like get out of the house. And my mom is like, get the fuck out of the house. You know what I mean? So now he's like,
can't find a job because he could sign up for Postmates. I signed up for Postmates.
Did you really?
Well, I figure this way I can be, if they tighten things even further, I'm essential staff, so I can get the fuck out of my house for a little while.
Smart. I like that. I'm gonna do that. What do you have to do to sign up? Doesn't it like cost money to sign up for Postmates?
Nope, it takes 5 minutes.
For real?
Yeah.
All right, well, dog, we about to start our own Postmates team. Speaking of starting things, you want to start Beck Rawlings versus Alma Garcia?
Hell yeah, for BKFC 1. First fight with women we're watching.
This is available, mind you, folks, on the Bare-Knuckle Fighting Championship YouTube page, absolutely for free. So I would say if you want to watch this full screen, head over there right now. Check it out with us. We are starting in 3, 2, 1. All right, you started, Chris?
Yep.
All
Let's
right.
go.
God, she is,
She's attractive.
you know.
She's attractive. But
5
here's the
foot.
thing. You mentioned that we would. This was free on the Bare-Knuckle Fighting Championship page, and that's because we wouldn't want to steal anything from these guys. Because frankly, they could probably send somebody to beat us up.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So, what do we know about? What do we know about Alma Garcia versus Beck Rawlings? Give me some background here.
Well, Beck Rawlings, if I'm not mistaken, her biggest fight in the UFC was against Paige Van Zandt, which she lost with a slick little head kick, if I'm not mistaken. That's the one where Paige got, Paige Van Zandt, switch kick followed by punches, followed that up with a loss to Tisha Torres, who's a legitimate title contender, Jessica Rose Clark, less so, but that was a split decision, then lost to Ashley Evans Smith, and she has since gone over to, that was her last fight in the UFC. So she went on a 4 fight losing streak in the UFC before joining BKFC. Alma Garcia has 7 fights as a professional boxer before this. So,
I mean, well, let's see. You know what's going to be interesting to see the professional boxer versus the MMA fighter, because, well, the MMA fighters used to fighting with, less hand gear, but the professional boxer is the professional boxer.
Right. Let me see, because Beck, she got, it looks like, so she came to the UFC from Invicta, where, I'm trying to see, she has 1 knockout win total in her MMA career, and it was a TKO in Nitro MMA. So clearly not known.
One of the Nitro girls?
I mean, by definition, I suppose.
Away.
Ooh, Alma with the real quick hand speed, looking real comfortable in there. Way better head movement so far. Super explosive early. Jesus.
I think she's just coming out super heavy early because she needs to. That's a much bigger woman.
Well, define much bigger. I mean, Beck is taller, but they both have a 65-inch reach. They're both 126.5 pounds. So,
I mean, they weighed in. Beck looks a lot bigger.
That's true, yeah. Oof, Alma landing early.
Oof. This is a more athletic competition than that last fight we watched last week.
This is what I'm saying. I really do think bare-knuckle fighting is way more... Like, I'd rather watch flyweights fight bare-knuckle than watch flyweights fight MMA. You know what I mean?
Obviously, because, the speed is just cranked up.
Yeah, it's fucking wild.
Yeah, without gloves, think about how much faster the speed is.
It's just bang, 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 bang.
Another interesting thing about watching women fight
is
that you're way more likely to see a fucking knockout
in women's fighting versus,
Well, no, than in women's MMA or women's boxing.
Right.
Particularly women's boxing.
Yeah, I don't watch much women's boxing, but I do know, like, in women's MMA, especially in the lighter weights, that 125, 115 range, outside of, like, Valentina or Amanda Nunes, you can't really count on many of these ladies to finish fights with consistency.
Oh, Beck getting in there now. Oh, look at this.
Beck is going for it. Alma looks uncomfortable. Ooh, shelling up there. Beck just picking her apart. Ooh, big shot on the chin. That little hook cut, like, that's another one where Alma's used to having, like, both gloves up. When she has that hook is not going to land with any kind of crazy power.
Some of these clinches that are allowed here are crazy.
So her dropping her to the ground, the ref immediately waved that off as garbage. So this is Rico Rodriguez, who is fighting in the main event of this card.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so interesting thing that they're doing from a production standpoint with this. I kind of like the hip hop music, in between the rounds. I don't know, really a nice little. It's especially for us watching this because we're so, like, starved for watching sports with people watching and enjoying themselves. It gives me, like, kind of that, like, people left the house to go watch a fight feel. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it feels like a real sporting event, Like how there's always music playing and T-shirts being given away during timeouts in the NBA. Like, this is kind of what that feels like.
Hell, I mean, have you ever seen in between quarters in the Memphis Grizzlies, they have wrestling matches in a tiny ring. Jerry the King Lawler comes out.
Wait, what?
Yeah, have you ever watched the stadium feeds for NBA?
No.
Occasionally, they'll have Jerry the King Lawler will wrestle. So he wrestled Buff Bagwell last year.
This can't be true. Why are we not doing commentary for that?
I swear to God, it happened. Well,
Dude,
you gotta watch. First of all, you have to find an illegal feed from direct inside the arena.
Word. Okay, again, Alma starting out very aggressive to start the round. Do you think that's a thing where she's just like, yeah, I'm going to come out and give her hell and then, you know.
Yeah, but it didn't work out for her in that first round.
No.
What's crazy is these are 2-minute rounds.
Yeah. Yeah, it feels long. Oh, God damn. She, like, leaped into that, too, dude. Oh, that hurt. Damn, Beck is just like, this is one where, again, like we were just saying that, like, going from somebody who has a bunch of decisions or split decision losses, a bunch of submission wins in MMA, to go from that to being like somebody who's able to do that to a pro boxer it's insane to me.
I mean, that's what I'm saying is like the learning curve has got to be crazy here.
Yeah, Beck is. She looks like insanely suited for this sport. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She just seems like a real tough chick.
Her
like the
build,
old
even,
what?
Just the shoulders.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just it's crazy.
So she was only knocked out twice in her MMA career, once by Paige Van Zandt, and then again once by a head kick in her first ever pro fight. So, I mean, it seems like that's all that she's really, like, you got to put shin bone to jawline to put this chick out. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Which is like, you know, I mean, they've said it before. Like, taking a high kick from like a skilled fighter is essentially like getting hit across the jaw with a baseball bat. Mm-hmm. So, you know, nice little uppercut right there. Oh, again,
I mean,
God damn!
I hit the nice cross, but it's just not gonna. Again, that's a 2-minute round. It felt a lot longer because there's a lot of action.
So here's the thing. Beck looks like the only thing that's hurt on her is her knuckles from hitting Alma. Alma is...
And she's getting... What's interesting is she's getting hit. I wonder, just the damage to the face has got to be so much heavier that it's got to just... It really got to throw you for a loop as opposed to being hit essentially with a pillow. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean, then, like, they did prove it before, though.
The concussions are higher with gloves, right?
Well, yeah, and the amount of impact is like the same, because it's, you know, like you're carrying, even though it's a pillow, you're still, like, it's more weight that you're then using to hit your opponent with. Damn, dude. Dude, Beck in slow motion here? That's a lot of titty meat.
Yeah.
Look at that back piece. So it looks like, oh, man. Oof. Ooh, she switches hands. She, like, had the left hand around for the plum clinch and was hitting her with the right, and then she switched to the right and was hitting her with the left. So it looks like Alma was not able to make the bell for round 3. They are calling the TKO from the stool. Beck Rawlings is the winner of the first women's fight that we have seen here on, what are we calling this again?
Chris and Mike watch bare-knuckle fights.
Hell yeah. So I was reading something here about this. Bare-Knuckle Boxing Hall of Fame recognized this milestone and awarded the victor of this contest, Beck Rawlings, with the National Police Gazette World Diamond Belt several days after her victory. BKFC recognized the Police Gazette champions, and they may defend their titles within this promotion.
Now, can we back up for a second? Did you say the Bare-Knuckle Fighting Hall of Fame?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't want to knock a governing body of the new sport we're trying to get into, but who the fuck decides who gets it? The bare-knuckle. Who the fuck is in there?
Okay, so I'm looking at this here. Actually, BKFC 1, which is the one we're watching now, it's the first ever American-sanctioned women's bare-knuckle fight in modern history. I'm going to look at the annotation that they have here on Wikipedia. But yeah, the Okay, so yeah, they have their own. They have Person of the Year. They have Team of the Year. They have a whole dude. Look
by
at the
winning this fight, she was just a de facto champion. They took the two biggest names they could get, they threw her in there, and that's the weight division that they started with.
yeah, sure. Okay, so the following are the inductees into the Bare-Knuckle Boxing Hall of Fame as of the 6th of April, 2018. Original inductees are required to have boxed completely bare-fisted with no wraps at some point in their career. These include living fighters and those that fought as early as the 18th century. So, yeah, I mean, there's plenty of guys in the...
Oh, yeah, that makes sense then.
Yeah, we got John L. Sullivan, Patty Ryan, George Godfrey, Jack Brutton. Yeah, there's plenty of...
The Irish, we get it. They couldn't afford gloves, but they needed a sport to watch.
There you go.
Yeah. Probably several of the Westies.
Right, the Peaky Blinders.
Yeah, the Peaky Blinders Championship. That's where you use a razor blade in between your knuckles. They call that the stinger.
Dude, so I'm wondering, like, do you remember the Golden Boy promotions?
Yeah, of course.
When Tito fought Liddell. I remember I think it was
I didn't watch the Alberto Del Rio one, but I did watch the first one, and it was fucking awful.
So here's the thing. That wasn't a Golden Boy Promotions thing. Golden Boy Promotions folded after that first fight. That was actually Combat Americas, was Tito versus Alberto El Patron. But it was funny to me that, like, the announcer, I don't even remember who the announcing team was there, but he went up to the guy who had beaten Tom Lawler, who's now he's now a prospect out of AKA. He's like one of Cormier's big guys. He's like a welterweight, I think. But he asked him, he's like,
the guy who looked like NBA Jam Cormier?
Yes, exactly.
Dude, honestly, when you do post-production on this, pull a picture of that guy. He looks like NBA Jam Cormier.
You know who I'm talking about. So he went to him after the fight, and he's like, so what's next for you? A title fight? And it's like, what title? There's no titles in Golden Boy MMA. You're asking me if I'm going to leave for another promotion to fight for their title? What are we doing here? That's what I imagined this conversation was like post-fight. Like, what do you do? How do you ask them what's next if they're fighting in their first ever thing? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fucking weird. That was entertaining as fuck, dude.
Again, I'm liking these fights, and I think as we get deeper into it, like we're cracking some jokes, but these have been very entertaining fights. And I think as we get deeper into these free fights, we're gonna get. I think this is gonna be in my I think even after quarantine, this is gonna be in my rotation.
Oh, I'm certainly gonna watch. Like I'm going through on the BKFC channel. There is so many free fights available, and I do have a contact with the media department guy. So I'll see if he'll send us some more free fights to watch for this process.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. Maybe, obviously they'll never do this in New York, but maybe we can get down to New Hampshire and watch one of these.
That'd be pretty sick.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's episode 2. I'm your host, Chris from Brooklyn.
I'm Mike Harrington.
Thanks for watching. Check us out next week. We'll be back. Good night.
Peace.
All right. So I'll start that email chain with Nate now.